Now, Britons returning from Syria face arrest at the border, according to the Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police. Sir Peter Fahey, who leads the anti-terrorism strategy for the UK's chief police officers, said he was concerned that young men and women who may have been fighting with insurgents in Syria could pose a threat to the UK. There have already been 16 arrests this year of people suspected of terror offences in Syria, some as young as 17 years old. Well, earlier I spoke to Sir Peter Fahey and I began by asking him what evidence there is that Britons are going to Syria and becoming radicalised.
We know that certain people have been attracted out there. We've identified about 200, but probably the number is far greater. And really we need the help of the community to tell us about people who are out there, but also to tell us about people who may be thinking of going out there so we can try and dissuade them.
It's not illegal to go and fight there, is it?
It is not, but obviously it is illegal to prepare for terrorism, to fundraise for terrorism, or to promote terrorism. But our prime concern at the moment is the welfare of people going out there. It is an incredibly violent place. The Syrian government have made it clear that anybody going out there will be arrested and imprisoned. Although you may well be a British Muslim, when you go out there you'll just be viewed as a Westerner and you'll be in grave danger. So our primary concern at the moment is the welfare of anybody going out there, but absolutely we're also concerned about the impact they may have when they come back.
But what will happen to people who've gone out for perfectly honourable reasons, either to deliver aid or to give other support to the Syrian opposition, not to join Al-Qaeda, but for perfectly honourable reasons? You're saying you're going to put them on programmes and lists and arrest them?
Well, they certainly will be stopped when they come back, because we need to find out what they've been doing, what impact it's had on them, and absolutely, could they be a threat to the country in the future? So I think the public would expect us to do that because of the violence out there, because of the number of extreme groups that are out there. We need to build a better picture. Clearly, for quite a lot of those people, it may well be that we are able to work with other agencies, absolutely, to put them on programmes to try and help them recover from the experience out there.
What do you mean by put them on programmes?
Well, we already have the existing PREVENT programme. We work with youth groups, the Muslim community, mosques, schools, to help people who we believe are at risk of being drawn into violent extremism.
What evidence is there that people who've been to Syria have been radicalised and come back and become a terrorist threat in Britain? Have there been arrests and prosecutions?
Well, there certainly have been arrests and cases will be going through the courts, but I think most of the public would expect us not to take a risk on this. Absolutely, we do not know the full extent of the situation out there in Syria. We need to build the intelligence picture. We can't take a risk on what might be the threat to the country.
Is it a theoretical danger at the moment, or are there actual cases that you have seen in which people have been out to Syria from Britain, have become radicalised and have come back as terrorists?
Well, we certainly believe that there are people who have gone out there and have been working with extreme groups.
You believe, or you know?
No, we do know that, but I come back to it. I mean, clearly this is about intelligence. It is about building a case. We have to, if we're taking cases through the court, we have to have that evidence. But the fact is we can't take a risk when the threat is so extreme. And as I say, our concern is also the welfare of people who've been out there.
And can you just explain what tools you have in your kit, if you like? I mean, apart from asking people to go on voluntary programmes or arrest if you've got hard evidence, what can you do for that group of people who are likely to be in between, where you suspect they've come into contact with dangerous ideologies, but you don't really have the hard evidence? What can you do with them? Well,
then, I mean, clearly there are, avenues like the TPIMs and things like that where we can use to control people. But our overall aim, absolutely, if there is evidence there, we will take it through the criminal justice system. But in most of our work, it is about how we use different programmes. There's another one called Channel, which essentially, I come back to it, is working with different groups, working with the community, working with youth groups, working with schools, working with mosques, that where we've got vulnerable people that have been influenced by these extreme ideologies, that we work with those groups to try and offer, obviously, a counter-narrative and to try and get them to understand that they've ended up with a very perverted view of the Islamic faith in particular.
Sir Peter Fahey, and just to clarify what I said in the introduction to that, some of those 16 arrests so far this year were of people attempting to travel to Syria rather than people who were all on their way out.